this is our 2015 Ram ProMaster 1500 mobile detailing unit. In this video, I'm gonna give you the backstory on why we purchased this vehicle, the previous mobile units that I had, how we built it out, and some tips and advice to building your mobile van. First, let's take it back to 2011, and that's when I started off in my 2003 Toyota Matrix XRS. It had two different colors on of wheels, the paint was chipping, it was lowered, and that's what got me started in my detailing business. It was nowhere near the best, it was very cramped, it couldn't take that much equipment, but I got started with something and was able to start my mobile detailing business and go to customer locations even though it wasn't the most ideal vehicle. In 2014, I upgraded to my 2009 HHR panel, and it didn't give me much more space than my Matrix, but it did look a lot more professional and it was a lot more reliable just because I was modding my vehicle and just something went wrong with my Matrix where it just wasn't the most reliable vehicle anymore. So upgrading to the HHR panel just helped me be more reliable going to customers' locations. Then in 2019, 2020, Lex and I joined up and we upgraded to a 1999 Dodge Caravan with purple paint that's shipping that has more issues than my Matrix, but we still got the job done and we were still able to grow our business and make money with the not prettiest, not reliable van, but it still got the job done. And then you fast forward to now and we have a 2015 Ram ProMaster 1500, and it's been very, very well for us. Let's go take a look at it. So one thing I always say is everyone's van will look much better and prettier than ours. Just because when we upgraded from the Caravan to the ProMaster, we just kind of threw everything into the van just to get it operational because we were still 100% mobile at that time. So we did like as little as like making it look pretty or nice. It's just like, what do we need to get it functional? And let's just go with that. And since then, like we haven't done anything just because one, our schedule is like we're always mobile, although it has decreased over time, we still are mobile. Two, it's functional. So could we make it look pretty? Could we put some diamond plates? Could we paint it? Yes, but does that really change the functionality of it? Not really. And third, it's just like my personality. I don't really care for like making things look pretty or like caring about the like aesthetics of things. That's just a personal thing to me. So you'll see it's like, it looks pretty bare bones because it is. So let's give you a tour of it. So we basically have everything in the van that never has to get taken out of the van. So if we have jobs at the shop, well, we have all the tools and products at the shop. If we have a mobile job, all the tools and products stay in the mobile unit, just because it's very annoying going back and forth between, hey, take the extractor out, take the pump sprayers out, take the tools out, because we have a shop job. We want to keep everything at their designated place. That way it's just less work for us to actually make sure things are ready to go the next day. So here's a quick snapshot of what we have in our van. We have this custom built shelf with two air movers, our steamer, a bag full of polishers, a lot of clamps. Underneath it, we have a bin full of towels for washing, for drying, and for removing polish. We have a few pump sprayers in the bottom because they're a bit larger and they don't fit anywhere else. We have a Yeti cooler to make sure we keep our drinks nice and cold. We have a bag full of clean multi-purpose towels. We have a little trash bag on the back of the seat just so we can store or we can put any trash from the customer or if we have any trash. We have a massive PE 500 heated extractor. This thing is an absolute beast. We have a 100-gallon water tank that we usually keep around 60 to 80 gallons. We have our wash bucket. We have our wheel bucket. We have multiple bags to store dirty towels. So we have the red bag for multi-purpose towels. We have the black bag for polishing towels. We have the small black bag for glass cleaning towels. We have a corner section here to store our benches and our canopy. Now this top shelf is also custom built, but we have our Johnny Vac vacuum, our cordless vacuum, multiple pump sprayers with different kinds of chemicals like an ONR, like our iron remover, like our carpet pre-spray. We have this small little bin of tools to have all our brushes and pads for the interior. We have two tote bags that have all our exterior and interior cleaners. We have a magnetic glove holder to hold our gloves. On the back side, we have a hose reel for extractor, a hose reel for the vacuum, a hose reel for the pressure washer, a hose reel for the air compressor. We have an electrical reel. We have a massive Predator 8750 inverter. we have an Ego blower, we have a AR Blue Clean 630 pressure washer, I believe. We have a rigid air compressor, we have our DI tank, and we have a bunch of other miscellaneous things like our pumps, our foam sprayers, our cleaning guns, and a bunch of other things that we use throughout the day. Now, as far as the cost to outfit the actual van and what's inside, it's probably somewhere between like $8,000 to $10,000 to $12,000. It's hard to put like an exact number, just because like we've bought stuff before and used it in the van, then we removed it, or then we bought something else and then that changed, or we just like bought a bunch of small things that you need that you don't really account for. So maybe in the ballpark of like $8,000 to like $12,000, somewhere around there. Now this ProMaster is still their low version, meaning they have a high version where there's even more space on the interior. We looked at vans like the Ford Transit, but that was way too small. I mean, like, we had more space in the Caravan than we did in that Ford Transit. And we looked at every other big vehicle out there, like as far as makes and models, from Dodge, from Ford, from Chevy, and this is the one that we landed on. It was a good deal. We like the size, and because we're not like 6'4", we can still stand inside for the most part and not hit our head, and that makes it very comfortable. It's also a big deal to have this space to sit down during the summertime, like when like the sun is just beating on you like crazy. It helps a lot to be able to sit on that on the water cooler and just pour some water on your face and just have a place to sit down away from the sun. Like, this is a big part of like where you can just rest. I mean, in the HHR and the Matrix and the Dodge Caravan, like, yes, you can sit in the front seat, but like this just gives you more space to like stretch your legs and just kind of cool down a little bit. So that is a major plus. Okay, so the back side, as you'll see, we have a lot of open space. That's because the doors kind of go all the way back. I think most commercial vehicles do the same thing. And this really helps when you're mobile in a small driveway or in a small street and you don't want your doors sticking out. It helps to kind of, you know, fold them all the way in. So with us, everything that we, at least the major machines, we have them on hose rails. So our vacuum, the extractor, the pressure washer, the air compressor, all of these are on air hoses, because it makes a world's difference to just be able to remove this pin, pull out the hose, pause, and then get to work. Like, that makes a major difference, and it removes a lot of cumbersome or annoyance of like, okay, let me get the hose, let me reel it, let me, you know, unreel it, reel it up. Like, having things on air hoses makes a big difference. And the biggest thing that powers everything is our Predator 8750. One thing you notice is like, if you want bigger machines, you need more stuff. Meaning, if you want just having this generator alone, you need more space to place this generator somewhere. So that's why you need the bigger van. Or if you want the bigger extractor, guess what? You need more space to hold the bigger extractor. So we can almost run all the units that we need off of this generator at once. Like when I had the Predator 2000, or when we had the Predator 3750, we could only run like a few things at a time, just because it would overload the machine and then it would cut off. But with this one, you can put like the air compressor, the extractor, the vacuum, and maybe the steamer all at once, and it runs like a champ. So this wouldn't be able to run if we didn't have a generator to be able to handle all the machines that we have. Because when I had the Predator 2000, what I would do is, like, if I needed the extractor and I needed the steamer, I would turn on the extractor, turn off the steamer, and then use the extractor. And then when I needed the steamer, I would turn off the extractor, turn on the steamer, and then do that over and over, just because it literally could not run both of those units at the same time. And again, going back to like, we just kind of set this thing up and started using it. I mean, look how cheap this thing is here. Like, this is like a very old little table that we just used to put the reel on there. And since then, we haven't done anything with it. Like, it's still just there. It's working well enough. And like, I've been saying, like, we should probably upgrade and like change some things, but it's like, why? Because it's working, you know? Don't get me wrong, like, this is pretty cheap of us to do that. Like, it would have been much smarter to like kind of do everything right at first, like when we first got it. But at that time, like, we literally got the van. That same night, we threw everything into this van, and then the next day we had 3 other vehicles to service. So there wasn't much time to wait around, because like I said, the Caravan was not reliable at all at that time. Now, don't worry about how dirty the van is. We're waiting to make a video on that one. But as far as the cockpit goes, I mean, it's actually, not that I've driven that many commercial vans, but when I first sat in it and I started driving on it, it is a different feel than what you're kind of used to. You feel like you're sitting above everything, and you feel like your body just kind of sitting over the steering wheel. So what I recommend when you're looking at any vans, or any shop, any van, anything, is like you have to obviously go there and like take a test drive, like get in, get out, like reverse it, put it, you know, like do everything that you can to see like how it feels when you drive it. Or same thing with a shop, like go actually walk around the shop, go at night, go in the morning, so you can see like how it looks. So with the van, it's like you need to make sure you're doing you're test driving it, you're taking measurements to see what you want to put in there and if it's going to work out or not. Because literally, if that generator that we have, if we would have bought the Ford Transit, it would have taken up like 1/4 of the space, just because the Ford Transit isn't that big to begin with. So really look at the vans that you're looking at and saying, okay, well, what do I want? Where am I gonna take this unit? And if I buy the Ford Transit, is it gonna fit what I want over the next 3-6 months, right? Like you really have to think about like, hey, is it smarter to get a smaller van or a bigger van based on what I want to do over the next 3, 6, 9, 12, 18, 24 months? Because it's obviously not a small investment to get a van, and you want to kind of get it, you know, you want to get it right the first time because it's a pretty big commitment. And one thing I do recommend is get yourself a rear view camera if your van doesn't have one, just because if you're blocking the view from with a partition, or you simply can't see out the back, like you want to make sure you know what's behind you or what's not behind you. So get yourself a reverse camera, just because safety, liability, it's much better to have a camera. But that's gonna wrap up this video. I know I probably missed a ton of things that you guys wanted to see. So let me know in the comment section down below, what questions do you have about the tools, the setup, the cost, the price, the build, whatever. Let me know and I'll answer it in a future video. You can check the description box for most of the tools and products that I have in the van, linked down below. Probably not everything, but I'll try to get most of the things. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one.